Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Taylor Knight. You're watching Eyewitness News on the Wax. A lot to talk about here, but first let's say hello to meteorologist Jill Gilardi for a check of your first alert forecast. Jill, I left the house with that heavy coat on. Did not need it.
No, I know. I stepped outside even with a thinner coat. I'm like, I don't think I even need that. Yes, it's very warm. We gave that first alert. Warm front moved through, and now we're just basking in what feels more like spring than anything else. Now, we're starting to see some breaks in the clouds. That rain to our south is going to stay to our south. Once upon a time, it was potentially going to creep up our way. So looking mainly dry as we step out the door this morning. And New Haven, you're looking at some breaks in those clouds, so a little bit of light out there. 50 degrees, right? Here's where we're starting off at. We're already above what is a normal high for this time of year, so most of us enjoying those 50s. So out the door, yeah, a long sleeve, you know, definitely not a thick coat by any means. It depends on if you get cold easily, but these aren't cold numbers for us. We're pretty acclimated to chillier conditions. So 50s will be with us all morning long and all day long, though a few of us may get lucky, not so much through noon, but maybe later this afternoon. As you can see, we'll get close to 60 degrees with a few breaks of sunshine, a little fog developing along the shoreline 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. Now look at tonight. This evening, the icons start to change as early as 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So we have one little push of rain to go through connected with a cold front. So yes, it is going to be getting chillier for Thanksgiving and especially Black Friday. So there's a little blip in our rain chance. Again, a random shower can be ruled out generally during the day, but it's really going to be in this evening that we're talking about that next chance. But coming up, we're going to be also talking about tumbling temperatures and our next big thing that does include some wintry precipitation. Just saying. All right, I'll see you in about 15 minutes. Taylor?
All right, thanks, Joe. We have a first alert to tell you about in Southington right now. This is an overturned vehicle on I-84 westbound. This is happening between exits 32 and 31. This has closed the left and center lanes. You could see the emergency response, a few fire trucks, an ambulance, police officers there dealing with that overturned vehicle you can see on your screen. We also have been following this first alert in Middletown. This is on Route 9 southbound. This is between exits 24 and 23. They have the right lane closed there. A vehicle was just towed away from this area. And another first alert we've been following all morning for you. This is on I-84 eastbound in Southbury. This is right near exits 14 and 15. There was a crash there late last night. They are now doing maintenance work to clean up the guardrails there. I'm Taylor Knight with your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, big story here. Husky fans waking up to breaking news. ESPN and The Athletic both reporting UConn football coach Jim Mora is expected to exit stores to accept a job with Colorado State.
Your reporter Roger Suzanin explains this shocking new development.
Oh boy, well, UConn football fans and players had been riding high recently, celebrating the first back-to-back 9-win seasons in program history. But now, instead of just awaiting finding out who their bowl opponent is going to be, UConn will likely have to search for a new head coach, because both ESPN and The Athletic are reporting that multiple sources tell them Jim Mora plans to leave Connecticut behind. The news seemingly dropped like an anvil out of the sky early this morning. Sources tell ESPN and The Athletic that UConn coach Jim Mora is on the verge of accepting the job with the Colorado State Rams. Mora would be leaving the football program in a much better place than when he arrived. The Huskies had only been to one bowl game the decade before Mora took the job in 2022. Including this year, UConn will play in 3 bowl games over Mora's 4 seasons as head Husky. But like so many other football coaches, Mora's career has been marked by movement. First in the NFL with Atlanta and San Francisco, and later in college at UCLA before arriving in stores. And now it appears he will leave the Huskies. But at least UConn would be kicking off this search with positive momentum, thanks in part to Coach Mora. And speaking of momentum, UConn certainly has it on their side right now. Not only have the Huskies won 4 straight games, they were actually undefeated here at home at Rensselaer Field. And with growing fan support, they have a lot to sell on any prospective head coach out there. We'll have much more on this big developing story in the days and weeks ahead. Reporting outside Rensselaer Field, I'm your reporter Roger Suzanin, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Our other big story today, the state's major roadways are expected to be busy again with Thanksgiving travelers.
AAA predicts over 70 million Americans will be driving to their destinations this year. Traffic expected to be heaviest between 11 this morning and 8 this evening. We're already seeing some issues popping up on Connecticut roads. Your best bet is to avoid any delays, to leave as early as possible if you can.
And really, no matter when you leave, officials want you to make sure you get where you're going safely.
If you plan to be out and about this evening, leaders warn that tonight is one of the most dangerous times to be on the roads. Your reporter Anna Stansfield is live along I-95 in Madison, sharing ways to keep yourself and your loved ones safe tonight.
Good morning, ladies. Let's first just kind of give you a live look at what we're seeing on I-95 again here in Madison. We've been here for hours, haven't seen a single problem, a single backup. Things moving very smoothly, but we do know here in Connecticut, hundreds of thousands of people are expected to hit the roads today. And with so many people heading home or to visit a loved one or a friend, we know tonight is a popular night for people to meet up at some of our local bars and restaurants. But officials really do warn that if you do plan to drink, it's very important that you have a plan on how you're going to get home. Tonight brings one of the most dangerous nights on Connecticut roads all year. Many people typically plan to meet with friends or family the night before Thanksgiving, and oftentimes drinking is involved. In the last 4 years during the Thanksgiving holiday, there were 83 crashes in Connecticut involving impaired drivers, some of them deadly. As you make your holiday plans, the DOT urges you to also plan a way that doesn't involve you driving if you plan on drinking. Schedule a taxi or Uber to pick you up, or make sure one of your friends stays sober. And if you see a friend trying to get behind the wheel that you think is drunk, stop them.
They might be frustrated and upset with you in the moment, but when they wake up tomorrow and they're safe and alive, they're going to be very grateful that you intervened.
And as you hit the road throughout this Thanksgiving holiday travel period, if you notice that someone appears to be impaired in another vehicle while you're driving on the road, be sure to call 911 as soon as possible to hopefully get that driver off of the road to ensure everyone's safety. I'm your reporter in Madison, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Anna. And now to an update on that breaking news we first brought you yesterday in New Haven. 2 people were killed, another seriously hurt after police say a man shot his girlfriend and her friend before killing himself inside of an apartment on Congress Avenue. Police say domestic violence is more common this time of the year. If you or someone you know needs help, you can always reach out to CT Safe Connect. We have their number on our website, WFSB.com, and our mobile app. Happening right now, U.S. officials are heading to Russia and Ukraine to try to finalize a peace plan. CBS News reports that Ukrainian leaders reached a common understanding on the proposal. It's still unclear exactly what that means, though. President Trump said that he could also meet with the presidents of both Russia and Ukraine as those talks continue. And we're still trying to figure out exactly what the deal includes. A draft plan obtained by CBS News would require Ukraine to give up land in the eastern part of the country. There would be a demilitarized zone controlled by Russia. Take a look at your screen right now. This shows how the lines would be redrawn. Ukraine has previously been against giving up any land.
Well, this morning, a Waterbury family is remembering 2 of their loved ones who died in a car crash less than a week before Thanksgiving. Ismail Pachenko, Sr., and his 12-year-old child will be laid to rest on Friday. They were killed when a car hit a tree on Willis Street in Bristol Saturday. A 10-year-old boy was hurt. Pachenko's brother is remembering him for his kindness and generosity.
Give us the shirt off his back, anything for his younger brothers.
Investigators are still looking into what caused the crash, but say at this point no other vehicles were involved. This morning, we're hearing exclusively from a former Litchfield attorney who's now fighting against his own manslaughter conviction. Robert Fisher has appealed his guilty verdict in the shooting death of a man who he says randomly attacked him in the parking lot of his law firm back in 2021. He says he's had several health problems in prison and that he's being punished for protecting himself.
I would say to the judge that I'm 79 years old. I've never even had a traffic ticket. And this was one incident where I thought that I was defending my life.
Well, he argues witness testimony about how far apart he and the person were, also the trajectory of a gun an issue. He also says the judge who oversaw his case failed to disclose he was seeking a job as Inspector General.
Right now, educators in Old Saybrook are working to come up with some new rules for class pets. Animals are currently not allowed in the classroom. The discussion started because of a bearded dragon that students at Goodwin School were caring for. Parents say that having pets can be beneficial, but district leaders say that a policy is needed in order to keep students and the animals safe. The board is expected to talk about the new policy again in 2 weeks.